Once when I was at home, I thought a T-Rex had gotten into the kitchen because I heard an epic scream from my grandma Chona saying, "They're going to eat us, hide." So we all ran to the kitchen with brooms in hand as if they were swords. And when we got there, we saw that my grandma Chona was pointing at a cucumber lying on the floor that, according to her, had moved by itself. Then we all got into a Fortnite formation, poked the pickle with a fork, and it turned out there was a baby mouse hiding inside. But my grandma Chona started screaming as if she had seen Godzilla fused with Pikachu because she's terrified of mice. One time, my grandma Chona almost went to join Mama Coco because she saw a flying cockroach in the living room and screamed like a zombie apocalypse was coming. Then she grabbed her blessed sandal, threw it sniper style, and hit it right in midair. But the problem was that the sandal bounced and landed right in my soup, and I was just sitting there traumatized while my cousin Frijolito was making fun of me. But the worst part is that the cockroach was still alive and was running on the walls like Naruto. So every time there are cockroaches, the family yells, "Activate the ninja grandma," but I run away so they don't ruin my food. One time when my little cousin Tizoc was fed up with his cat because every morning it woke him up meowing at 6 a.m, he decided to play a prank on it and tried to stick gum on its paw. But the fool left the gum on the chair, and when he sat down to get a better hold of the cat, he got it stuck to himself too. So the cat ran off with the gum stuck to it, and Tizoc was also stuck to the chair, and it looked like they were connected by fate. So when the cat ran, Tizoc tried to catch me, but he fell on his butt yelling like a mariachi. And that day we learned that divine justice doesn't warn you, it just sticks to you. Once when I was little, I thought dolphins were smarter than humans and that one day they would conquer the earth. Because that's what they said in ocean movies and dolphin documentaries. But one day I went on vacation with my parents. I asked my mom, "Where are we going?" And she told me we were going to a dolphin aquarium. And when I got to the aquarium, I saw like 700 dolphins and I said, "No way, this is the dolphin revolution." So since I didn't want them to do anything to me, every time I walked past a dolphin, I would say, "You're very smart, you're very smart, you're very smart." And to this day, my parents still make fun of me for that story. And they say to me, "Son, you're very smart." One time, my nephew Mbappé thought he was going to go to heaven with Michael Jackson because he was choking on some flies he accidentally inhaled. We were playing soccer, but that guy breathes like this when he plays. Like he wanted to steal all the oxygen from planet Earth. But then he started coughing for a whole minute without stopping. So we asked him, "Are you okay? What happened to you?" And he says, "No, I'm not okay. I'm going to die." Because the fool had swallowed 2 flies that were passing by. So since the guy is super dramatic, he thought they had gone into his lung and that they were going to lay eggs in him. Call the police. They're killing me. One time when I was at the mall with my family, an alarm went off that said, "Robbers inside the mall." And my brother, the kneehead, accidentally became a national hero because suddenly all the screens turned red and yellow and people started running like Thanos had snapped his fingers. But my brother, being a total coward, ran away. And because he was dumb, he slipped like a snow cone. And he fell in front of a button that said "Emergency Stop." So just by sheer luck, he pressed it and the whole alarm turned off. So everyone thought he had saved lives. And the manager gave him a voucher for 1,000 pesos. But he just said, "I only came for a coffee." So now we call him the sticky hero. He was paralyzed, really scared, and I couldn't move. One time my mom threw up on my face when we were at the fair because I said to my parents, "Let's see, if you're so brave, get on that ride." And I pointed out a ride that even turned people upside down, and they went ahead and got on it. So my girlfriend, my brother, and I stayed down below watching what was happening. But then when they were halfway through the ride, I said, "Oh, how cool." You can tell they're having fun like when they were kids. But then a little drop falls on me from above and I thought it was water. And I said, "I think it's going to rain." But I look up and instead of rain, there was an avalanche of vomit from my mom. And it landed on my girlfriend, my brother, and me on our faces, heads, and shoulders. My God. One time at Christmas, I got a gift that changed my life, but not for the better, because I opened my presents and I see an Xbox 360 box, and I happily say to my mom, "Chachi, Mom, it's what I wanted." and I quickly opened the box to see what was inside, and it was soaps and shampoos. And crying, I say, "Is this a gift or a punishment? What did I do wrong?" And she answered me that it was because I was dirty, and because I only took a bath a few times during the whole year, and that was the only way to see if I would stop being dirty. And in the end, they did give me the Xbox, and it was an unforgettable Christmas. Because now that I had the Xbox, I bathed even less. Subscribe and tell me a Christmas story in the comments. Taking a gallon so I wouldn't have to pay 10 rays. One time at Christmas, I was given the job of serving Coke to everyone at dinner, and it was a big mistake because I'm very clumsy. And there I was with the 3-liter bottle which seemed calm, but in reality it was a bomb about to explode, because when I opened it, it went boom, and Coke started coming out everywhere. And my grandma screamed in fright because I think she got flashbacks from Afghanistan because of the sound, and everyone ended up soaked in Coke. But the good thing is that I learned a very important lesson. The true Christmas spirit isn't in the dinner or the gifts, it's in the chaos. Ha! Coca-Cola Estuma. Once I became the biggest liar in the world because I promised I would never get angry playing video games again. But my words lasted exactly half a match because I was playing Fortnite. And because of my friend Kalaka, I got killed. And to top it off, I see Pansa shooting at a rock thinking it was an enemy. And then my buddy Chupon was making fun of me. So I had a fit of rage, threw the controller and yelled at them, "I don't want to be your friend anymore." And I left the group, but then I regretted it. I apologized, promised to change, and they accepted me back. But the bad thing is that we lost again like total bots. But now, with hugs. One more and you're dead. Once my friend Chilaquil became the most famous person in the history of my neighborhood because that bro was as fast as Flash. But one day he lost his mind and said, "I bet I can catch one of Doña Chona's chickens in less than a minute." So we chose the runaway chicken as his opponent, the one that nobody had ever been able to catch. So we set the timer, released the chicken, and Chilaquil started running like it was the Piston Cup, but the chicken dodged him like it was nothing. Until Chilaquil made a dive worthy of the Olympic Games, and he landed right in a corn stand, and that's where he left his teeth, and the chicken got away. But he ended up covered in cheese and mayonnaise, poor guy. One time, when I went to the circus, a tiger escaped from its cage and jumped over the fence like a ninja cat, and the whole circus screamed as if they were seeing the devil. But the worst part is that I ended up face to face with the tiger while I was eating my popcorn. But then, the trainers threw a bucket of water to scare him off, and the darn tiger moved like he knew what was coming. And instead of hitting him, they hit me. They left me soaking wet, like I was being baptized. And now, every time I go to the circus, I go prepared. Raincoat and umbrella.
Mama, I'm a criminal. Mama, I'm a criminal. Mama, I'm